Hi guys, welcome to the video. Today we're going to be looking at some block palettes. These are ones that I've used in the past for bases, or have tried out but never put into a full base or build. So let's get through the first one. Okay, so here we are at our first palette. Now so the format of this will be I will kind of explain the choice of these blocks and then how I like to use them. So typically I like to have a block that separates the natural area from your base. So if you're on a mountain, it'll differentiate the mountain from your base in a clear way. So for that one, for this palette, I like the brick. Since it's red, it stands out quite well in a lot of different environments. And then there's also the smooth sandstone, or I think it's a smooth sandstone. I can't remember. This is smooth sandstone, and this is chiseled smooth sandstone or something. I can't remember the name, but both these are really good for differentiating. Same with the copper block. I just think personally the copper block, unless it's used sparingly, is a bit ugly. So this is also a good block to separate cleared barriers. But I just wouldn't build full walls out of it, or a large perimeter like I would brick and sandstone. And then we have the smooth sandstone, which since it's a cream color like sand, it matches well with the sandstone, but it's still different. So you could build a frame for example a wall, and then you could fill in the middle with the smooth sandstone, and it would blend really well. All these blocks, you can see it fits nicely. And then there's these copper doors. Now it's orange because there's a lot of this, the sand and the brick, but you don't want a door that's the same color as one of these, because it'll just blend in unless that's what you're going for. So we got these copper doors, and copper trap doors are also good, but I wouldn't use the green ones unless it was maybe in the middle of a patch of these. Or I mean, technically you could use the all the colors of copper as long as they're not close to the other ones, I'd say. Just add some pops of color every once in a while. So let's get to the build and we can test out what that looks like. Okay guys, so we're over here at the build. It's all done now. So as you can see, oops, I didn't wax these. Axe. Oops. I messed that up. Pretend that's not there. Okay. Anyway, so you can see I have built this out in a very rudimentary build. Kind of shows the front. Some of these builds are going to be more interior vibes. It's more of you build the exterior around the interior, and then some will be the exterior, and then you kind of fill it in with what you like. So this one that builds the palettes where it's more focused on the exterior. At least that's how I think about it. So we got the copper pillars. Now this is good for an industrial deserty brick look. So it's kind of blending this brick, because there's not a lot of blocks I find that you can blend into brick with. There aren't other shades of brick. So there's got this big chunk of the front of the building being brick, and you got this copper pillar to separate it into maybe another floor, another building. Very clear barrier. And then you got the corners of this one as well. And then like I was talking about, you have these trap doors. These are all supposed to be waxed. This is my bad. There you go. Okay, problem fixed. These So oxidized in the time I was filming. So yeah, so you can see these copper trapdoors make a nice accent to this. Yeah, I really like this palette. I've never built a whole base with this, but I have like bits and pieces of builds in like survival single player worlds. So yeah, let me know what you guys think about this in the comments, build or palette. And yeah, I'd like to hear feedback when you guys think. Maybe you could I don't have like a Discord server yet, but I think if we get to like 300 subs, we get 300 subs, I'll make a Discord for the community, and then everyone can post more feedback and pictures of their builds using this palette. I'd be really interested to see what people come up with. Okay, so here is our second palette. Now, I came with this, actually when I was filming one of the Purecraft episodes, I was using the birch logs for the floor, and I was realized, oh, you know, birch logs kind of have this zebra pattern, and that made me think of like some fancy New York penthouse. So I have used this block palette just without the raw birch logs before, so but I added it as a nice detail, and you'll see in the build. So the idea is the base blocks would be this brick, and the logs or concrete. These are kind of like the perimeter blocks for a build. Now this was more like built around the interior of a build before like considering the exterior, but like these are also very good exterior decorating blocks. So yeah, so you got the nice I think this is the warped or mangrove. Actually really bad. Should know this. Oh yeah. Okay, so this is the warped plank, and honestly, like the mangrove, any like red goes nice with this because you got like the light color of the strip log and the raw log, and then it also complements the black well. Now these are very like good for like an exterior, but the concrete is also good for the interior, and it kind of mixes up some like the rough look, since even though like the smooth blackstone is a smoother texture, there's a lot of texture going on in this, and if you don't break it up, it'll kind of like be a bit much to look at. So you got the concrete here. Yeah, so let's get to the build and I can show you what that looks like. Okay guys, so here we are in the build. Now this is the interior, so as I said before, you kind of can build an exterior around this interior idea, but this kind of is a show off of what I was envisioning when I came up with this palette. So you got the zebra wall, and then maybe you get your bed, some workstations. Now I certainly wouldn't do a whole base with this because it's like after a while it'll just become noise to look at. So I'd use it sparingly for like accent walls, and then you can like do this where you have the warped wood and blackstone for like a lot of large expanses, and it still looks nice while still like having some color to it. And then you can see like the black concrete coming in, and then the smooth blackstone. I like this palette a lot. In a more complex space, this might like make a bit more sense for me to build out. So try this palette out for yourselves, guys, and let me know what you think, because I'd be really interested to see what kind of like ways everyone incorporates maybe this theme of this room, or even just the palette, into their bases. So yeah. Okay, here we are on this next palette. So this is mangrove log. I just use like the version that has no, like this, just the same face on all sides. I think it's just more versatile. But you could just use the log and then cap it off with one of those. I just like, for demonstration purposes, to use the one with no sides. And then we got mangrove planks. This is a spruce log, cobblestone. This is smooth tough and tough. And then we got jungle trapdoors. And I'm just going to go to the build and kind of explain how I've used these. Okay, so for this build, you can see it has like two sides to it. So you got this kind of looks with the tough and fir logs. So you can see with the spruce logs and smooth tough, it's kind of like a more medieval, like castle-y look. Like this could be a good castle style. And then you got these nice jungle trap doors to not only like accent it with like a lighter brown, but add some like texture to these windows. But then you go over here and the mangrove mixed with the andesite, I think it's a really good mix, because it can be like a more modern section, and then you got like this more classic Minecraft style. And then if you go inside, it also works really good for an interior. So this one is like good interior and exterior. And the difference between like the andesite and the smooth tough is not much, but it's like a noticeable transition, which looks quite nice, I think. Okay, this next palette. So I will give some background. I've been playing Minecraft since it came out on mobile, way back when. I used to play it on like an iPhone 4, but many of those years I wasn't building like nice bases. But when the Ocean update came out with all like the dolphins and stuff, I kind of got back into Minecraft. So for like several years, I would only build my base with this palette. I know some of the textures have changed, but like it's just the color I like. So that being acacia logs, acacia planks, white concrete, sea lanterns, diorite, and andesite. Smooth varieties, of course, or polished, I think that's the official term. So I've built several bases with this style, so yeah, I'm quite familiar with it. I've used it in like many scenarios. Typically it was like bases which are in the ground, but this palette also works really well for exteriors. So let's get to the build so I can explain more. So for this one, I built the interior because that's what I've built the most of. I think I built like 3 bases with this palette for the interior. I've built one for the exterior, but I want to show off the interior for this one. So you got the nice acacia planks. The orange always goes well with white. And then, so I didn't use a lot of white concrete. I kind of just put it here to like show. But it's nice to break up the diorite with like a smoother, more plain white block every once in a while. Oops, I did not mean to do that. And then you have the andesite, which at a distance, like you can tell it's separate from the diorite, like they're different blocks, but it's not like a jarring transition. And it's has a little bit of gray in it, and the acacia logs also have some gray in it, so it's a nice match. And then in the roof you have the sea lanterns, the blue and white. Blue, white, and orange always go well together, so this palette like really is like really complementary. And yeah, I love this palette. In fact, I love it so much I've actually like banned myself from using it in any Minecraft worlds for a while, because I use it too much. If I could only use it, I would use it. Although like the new Blackstone and Deep Slate, I'm really liking those as well. So let's get to the next palette. Okay, so this palette. So before I got back into making videos, I had a single player survival world, and I wanted to use some of the newer blocks, or not newer, but blocks I hadn't really used before. So the deep slate varieties, so you got the deep slate tile, deep slate brick, smooth deep slate, and then these warped log, the strip variety, and the just normal one, and then shroomlight, white glass. So I actually built like a really cool medieval castle out of these, and I think this palette works well for like a fantastical like medieval design. but also more futuristic ones if you do it like a certain way. But let's get to the build, and I can show some more. So here is the build. I kind of built like a recreation of one of the pillars of that castle I was talking about. So as you can see, the deep slate tile is a really dark textured block. It stands out really well, even if it's like by itself. So got this for kind of the base, and then it looks good if done right, but on like, this is a smaller scale, of course, so you could do like a whole pillar with just the tile deep slate. But I wanted to show us more. So then this brick, also the deep slate brick, also a very good foundation block, distinctly separates it from the ground. And then you got the smooth deep slate that kind of like fill in gaps while still having like the same shades of gray. It's like a lot of texture and color is fit into this space, so like you could build a whole base with just these 3 blocks and it would look great. I mean, from a distance it would look like all the same color, which is fine because if you're building like a bigger base, I mean, you don't want to have a million different blocks you're building it with. So it's a nice simple palette, all the same like base deep slate, so if you have a lot of deep slate, it's great. Yeah, and then you're getting close, and it doesn't lack detail because it has so much texture from all these blocks. And then we've got the shroom lights. I love these things. They are my favorite light source. I have not used frog lights, though, before. I've not used frog lights before, so maybe those will be my new thing. But they have a really fantastical element, and I like this. This is cool. Yeah, this texture really pops, and it gives a nice glow. And then we got the glass. Now, in recent years, I don't like using plain glass a whole bunch. I find it pretty lame, unless you're using it for like trying to make something quite transparent. But if you're doing like, for example, in this tower, plain glass, it wouldn't even stand out. It would just look like a void, and you'd be like, oh, that's glass. But since it has some like, it's white. The white complements the dark grays and blacks well, and also like pops. You can be walking by and be like, oh, that's nice. That pops out. And then we got the floor. So it's made of the stripped warp stem. I call it log. It looks like a log, but it's officially called the stripped warp stem. This block, great floor. The texture, same as all the other stripped, but this color of blue is really nice, and it complements the dark well, I find. And then we got the just base unstripped stem. It has this cool effect, and it's actually a little glowing pattern I love. But this can make a good like accent wall or just pillars. It looks like some energy or tendrils are moving up it. So yeah, I find this palette really nice. You can build several types of builds with it, and yeah, it works really well. So guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. As I said a few times, definitely let me know your feedback. I enjoyed making this video, kind of showing some palettes I've used, and yeah, remember to hit that subscribe button. Beat to 300 subs, I'll make a Discord, and that'll be awesome. We can chat about Minecraft on that server. Everyone can post their builds. I think it'll be pretty sweet. So everyone, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next video. Bye.